increases filing fees for presidential aspirants in this year's election.
Voter transfer and exhibition begin.
It's time for News Hour, live here on GBC24 and GTV. Good evening and you are welcome. My name is Suyukwo Kwakutre.
And I am Micheline Taka. To help us with the sign language interpretation is Robert Frimpong Manso.
The Electoral Commission EC has increased filing fees for presidential aspirants in this year's election. Presidential candidates of the various political parties will be required to pay 50,000 cedis. The filing fee for parliamentary candidate is 10,000 cedis.
The new fees were announced at an Inter-Party Advisory Committee IPAC meeting on Thursday. We earlier sought the views of some stakeholders, including executives of the various political parties. A governance expert, Dr. Eric Udrosai.
The increment of over 1,000% of the 2012 figures is unacceptable and is unreasonable because we see this to have the potential to preclude other people who want to exercise their interest to serve this country through participatory democracy. So we do not want a situation where the Electoral Commission will set fees that sustain the understanding of the Ghanaian electorate that this is all about money, politics is all about vote buying and gift giving, but they should set the prices or the filing fees such that it will dissuade the Ghanaian electorate from that understanding. We are of the view that if we are even going to increase because the times have changed, not more than 100% increment would have been acceptable. 10,000 Ghana cedis across board. One political party together with the filing fee for a presidential candidate is 3.25 million Ghana cedis. That is a lot of money.
APC open nomination and our fee was 5,000 Ghana cedis and then filing was 95,000 Ghana cedis. So APC, even though we never have a backdoor meeting with the Electoral Commission, but we are in support of that because, ruling a country, you need a serious person. If you are not resource, you can't come to say you want to be the president of the country. So with APC, we really don't have any problem with the filing fee.
When the EC comes and then he gives out this figure, I mean, from 1,000 Ghana to 10,000 Ghana, almost, just look at it. And then from 10,000 to 5,000, from 10,000 to 50,000, it is too much. So we actually had an IPAC meeting yesterday, and then we actually confronted the EC on this issue, and the EC says it's going to reconsider the situation and then get back to us. And if they don't get back to us, which means they are going to maintain on the 50 and the 10,000, which creates room for this Arab uprising.
The change and the jump is too outrageous. I think if we allow it to be as it is now, it will act as a disincentive to the growth of our democracy. Aside from that, what I see the challenge to be is that we haven't developed a framework or a regulation to regulate how much filing fees the Electoral Commission can charge. And I think this gives us an opportunity to be able to do that. So I invite the Electoral Commission to quickly withdraw the proposal it has made and then do wider consultation and come up with an acceptable figure that would allow the smaller political parties to also find a way or be able to pay. Again, the bit about the refund, it's a deposit I can understand, but the refund bit, who sets the criteria for refund? Who sets the percentage of votes you need to grant and what percentage can be refunded to you? All these things are to be agreed upon before the elections are organized. So I would invite all of us as a country to come up with a regulatory framework to regulate the charging of filing fees. We can benchmark it with the level of inflation pertaining in the country in the year of elections, rather than leaving it to the Electoral Commission to charge any amount as they deem fit. It is disincentive to the growth of our democracy, and I think we shouldn't allow it to happen again.
Meanwhile, the Electoral Commission has set September 13 for both presidential and parliamentary candidates to pick up nomination form from its offices. All candidates must submit their nominations on September 28th and 30th of 2016. Moving on, the nationwide proxy or vote transfer for eligible voters who have changed their place of residence has taken off. The exercise also includes the exhibition of the provisional voters register for the NHIS card registrants who participated in the re-registration exercise recently.
The Electoral Commission (EC) set September 9 to October 7, 2016 as a period for transfer of votes. This means eligible Ghanaians who wish to transfer their votes to their places convenient to them can do so within the period. In some district offices in Accra, however, the exercise could not start on schedule on the first day due to what was referred to as system delay. At the Ablekuma district, which consists of Ablekuma North, Central, West and South, most of the people who went there went for vote transfer. According to the EC officials, as part of the requirements, an applicant needs to present his or her old voter ID for a new card with a new code number. An eligible voter who has misplaced his old voter ID and came in an attempt to get a new one was turned away because the district has suspended its ID replacement exercise until Tuesday, 13th September 2016.
I need the card to cross border from Ghana to enter Ivory Coast. They are telling me to go home and come back on Tuesday, and I'm not in town. What about me? And I'm traveling tomorrow. I'm a Ghanaian as well.
But the exercise went on smoothly at the Ayawaso and Osuklote districts at the time of our visit. All processes of replacement of voter ID, voter transfers and continuous registration were ongoing in both districts.
I'm from Sunyani. I school at Legon, and I can't go back to vote unless I do the transfer here at Ayawaso West Wagon.
I went my hometown during the last registration, so I registered there and then voted. But this time, I'm a resident in Accra here, so I don't want to waste money again for Tojinu Batba.
The EC has begun the two-day provisional exhibition from September 9 to 10.
There was that problem.
Management of the Ghana Water Company apologizes to the general public, especially valued customers and motorists, for the temporary closure of the East Legon underpass, which has led to some traffic congestion within and around the affected area. The passage links East Legon to the Spintex Road. The closure is for ongoing repair works on the 32-inch diameter steel transmission mains at Flowerport Spintex Road. The work is almost complete. The repair work was necessitated by frequent leakages recorded on the transmission mains around the underpass. The most recent leakage occurred at dawn on Wednesday, September 7, 2016. The water company therefore decided to replace the weak section with an HDP pipeline, which is more durable and has a lifespan of at least 80 years. The Director General of Ghana Education Service, Mr. Jacob Ho, has directed all second cycle schools in the country to reopen school for the first term of the 2016-2017 academic year without any excuses. Mr. Ho explained that the GES has deliberately increased the contact hours at the second cycle level from the usual 40 weeks to 41 weeks this term, in the interest of prospective first-year students whose enrollment is expected to start by the middle of next month. The Director General of GES gave the directive in Kumasi during a presentation of educational materials to the Ashanti Regional Directorate of Education.
This is the second consignment of educational materials presented by the Ghana Education Service to schools in the Ashanti region in 3 months. The teaching and learning materials was handed over to the 30 metropolitan, municipal and district directors of education for onward distribution among basic and senior high schools. within their respective jurisdiction. They include teachers' notebooks, attendance registers, bank beds, monodex boxes of white chalk, as well as some learning materials meant for distribution to primary 1 pupils on my first day at school, when basic school reopened on the 13th of this month. The Ashanti Regional Director of Education, Mrs. Mary Owusu-Echao, commended the government for the timely presentation of the teaching and learning materials ahead of the reopening of schools for the first term of the new academic year. She asked heads of schools to send the materials to the designated points and ensure their proper maintenance. The Director General of the Ghana Education Service, Mr. Jacob Kaur, disclosed that the GES has increased the contact hours at the second cycle educational level by 1 more week this academic term to cater for challenges during the admission of fresh students for the new academic year.
Teaching learning materials is not enough. What is enough is the management of even whatever resources we have, be it scarce or in abundance. So we look at the basic school level management and take their activities very seriously, because if they do not handle these teaching learning materials very well, there will not be any impact.
The Ashanti Regional Minister, Mr. John Alexander Akon, entreated teachers and school managers to create the congenial environment for pupils and students to attain their academic potential while leading exemplary lifestyles to positively influence their children to aspire to be good citizens.
Thanks for staying on. President John Mahama has toured the Ejumako Enyane CM constituency as part of his Central Regional Campaign tour, defending his first-term record, which highlights infrastructural development.
There were scenes of carnival as President Mahama and his campaign team toured the Ejumako Besiasi and the neighboring towns as part of his Central Regional Campaign tour. Speaker after speaker educated the audience about government programs to improve living standards. The NDC campaign team also visited Agunan Sabah. The president continued to explain what government has been doing in the past 4 years to raise the image of Ghana. He was policy specific about rural conditions, saying that his government will open centers in agricultural areas to give farmers direct assistance.
Farmer service centers, center. Now then center, they be in every single district. This should be all Ghana. Center. Tractors wrong, plows wrong, arrow wrong, planter wrong, fertilizer wrong, spray wrong, bibia openi, ebedia, wepedman, farmer service center wrong. The back one to perform my ultimate year, my ultimate and your baby or Ghana,
The Central Region was given 14 new Community Day senior high schools. 8 have so far been completed. In his latest sweep across the region, he inaugurated 2 of such schools at Mankron and Agonabodom.
The New Patriotic Party, NPP, says the country is in total ruins due to the mismanagement of the economy by the NDC. According to the NPP, the NDC-led government went for IMF bailout because of the party's reckless expenditure prior to the 2012 elections, which put the country's economy on a slippery road. In a public lecture, the running mate of the NPP, Dr. Muhammad Dubaumia, called on Ghanaians to bring the NPP back to power to rescue an economy in deep trouble. Party bigwigs, including the flag bearer Nana Akufo-Addo and former President J. Akufo, were at the lecture, which was under the theme the state of the Ghanaian economy, a foundation of concrete or straw.
The lecture touched on every sector of the economy. According to Dr. Baumia, the NDC was bequeathed with a very good economy by the Kufuor administration, but has brought the country many steps back.
During the period of MPP governance, capital expenditure, that is expenditure on infrastructure, far exceeded interest payments. This is because low interest payments allow more room for capital expenditure. Infrastructure expenditure as a percentage of GDP declined sharply after 2008 as interest payments have been increasing. From 2014 to date, interest payments have now incredibly exceeded infrastructure expenditure. How can an economy grow when interest payments are higher than capital expenditure?
He said the NDC government has imposed too much and too many taxes on businesses, making it difficult to attract investment and create jobs.
In their desperation, taxes were imposed even on condoms and cutlasses, savings and investment, and so on. While already existing rates have seen increases.
Dr. Baumia attributed problems in the energy sector to financing.
The energy sector faces an unprecedented financial crisis in Ghana's history. The very existence of our biggest electricity generator, that is the Volta River Authority, is under serious threat as its debts continue to increase. And VRA's debts are estimated to be between 1.5 billion and 2 billion US dollars. The cost of electricity to industry has been alarmingly high, and this has led to the collapse of some factories and the relocation of others to our neighboring Côte d'Ivoire.
On industrialization and agriculture, the NPP said these two sectors, which are key to economic growth, have been made unattractive due to bad policies.
Ghana's food import bill has increased dramatically from 600 million US dollars in 2008 to 2.1 billion US dollars. And rice imports, for example, increased by 52% from 395,400 metric tons in 2008 to over 600,000 metric tons by 2015.
The NPP said under its leadership, growth would increase with double digits by 2018.
We will create jobs and prosperity for all Ghanaians. To do this, we have to address head-on the economic challenges that confront our economy. These include macroeconomic instability, the banking sector fragility, unsustainable debt, unemployment, the energy crisis. We need to empower the private sector. We need inclusive growth and higher infrastructure expenditure relative to GDP. We need to increase agricultural productivity. We need to industrialize.
The party says, as part of its strategies to resolve the energy crisis, it will be implementing a 10-year power sector master plan.
Hello, good evening and welcome. We are grateful to have you join us for some business updates. I am Dorothy Ajimai. Ghana has issued its fifth Eurobond of $750 million at a yield rate of 9.25%, a few points lower than the last one, which was at 10.75%. According to the Finance Ministry, the bond was oversubscribed, with orders exceeding $4 billion, but government took only $750 million.
Total Petroleum Ghana has outdoored a new product dubbed Total Exilium onto the market. Exilium, which replaces the Total Efimax, is already on the European market and comes in 3 different types: the Exilium Diesel, Exilium Super and Exilium Super 95. The managing director of Total Petroleum Ghana, Mr. Oliver Van Praes, says the fuel is designed to clean the car engine, enhance performance and reduce fuel consumption.
Total Petroleum Ghana is part of the Global Total Group, which is the 5th largest publicly traded integrated international oil and gas company in the world, with presence in over 100 countries. Total is one of the leading oil marketing companies with a strong brand image, with more than 230 fuel stations across the country. Cognizant of the growth in the fleet of high-performance vehicles in Ghana, Total introduced Total Super Efimax and Total Diesel Efimax, which are high-performance fuels guaranteed to ensure a smooth ride. 6 years down the line, Total has introduced its latest addition, Exilium, to its range of products. The Exilium comes in 3 different types of Exilium Diesel, Exilium Super and Exilium Super 95. The Total Exilium is a new line of specific fuels that clean engines and provide lasting protection to ensure that engines perform better, consume less fuel and produce fewer polluting emissions. According to the Managing Director of Total Petroleum Ghana, Mr. Oliver Van Praes, the formulation for the Exilium has been optimized with specific detergent additives to clean the engine's vital components and keep them clean over time.
The performance of your engine is enhanced, you consume less fuel and you pollute less. It is as simple as that. We have put in effort to ensure that Exilium technology prevents fueling, the accumulation of deposit in the engine, which affects its overall performance. The Exilium technology is quite complex. It is composed of a number of additives, like detergent, antioxidants, and so on. Its efficiency has been proven abroad, particularly in Europe, where it has been used for a long time now. Total Group has decided to introduce this technology in Africa.
The French ambassador to Ghana said the Exilium fuel is high premium and will help consumers.
We at the embassy have worked closely with Total Petroleum Ghana for many years already, and we can attest in Ghana and beyond the reputation for high standard of products in all aspects, but in first line and first place, safety, quality, and value for money.
The Minister for Transport, Mr. Fifi Kwete, lauded Total Petroleum for introducing quality products onto the Ghanaian market.
The introduction of this new fuel by Total is in line with our own policies to develop and strengthen the environmental and regulatory framework in order to ensure an efficient transport system. As the feature of this product is to clean the engines, we believe this will lead to a considerable reduction in the pollution which normally emanates from very old and highly deposited engines. So inevitably, this will protect all road users from a lot of related health hazards.
The Exilium Super 95 has octane, a colorless flammable hydrocarbon which enhances the performance of engines.
You're watching the major news and this is the business segment. On the interbank market, the dollar is trading around 3 cedis 94 pesos. The pound sterling is pegged at 5 cedis 26 pesos. Let's look at the prices of gold, cocoa, light crude and other commodities on the international market. Coming up is insurance news. In insurance news, one of the old principles introduced to guide the operations of insurance is utmost good faith. This principle requires that anybody or subject matter that is due for insurance must honestly disclose the full facts about his property, which is called material facts relevant by law. GBC24 Insurance News takes you through utmost good faith.
Utmost good faith originated from the Marine Insurance Act of 1906 to help insurers prevent adverse of selection. This is the honest disclosure of material facts relevance or required for that insurance to take place. The disclosure will enable the underwriter to determine the premium to charge for a particular insurance risk that is being assumed to avoid misrepresentation. The utmost good faith deals with the proposals from the insurer and insurance company. According to the managing director at Vanguard Assurance, Mr. Charles Anso, both parties have a duty or role to play as far as the disclosure of the risk is concerned.
If you were to determine the premium or the rate, you might have had a higher rate than the location B. So in so doing, you might have not disclosed the true facts of the location to your insurer, and it can lead to either avoiding the claim, that's repudiating the claim, or there are certain punitive measures that the insurance company can take against you, the claimants.
There are principles that govern utmost good faith. One of such are issuing an insurance form and certificates to the insurer by the company. This helps to settle claims amicably in case of any eventuality, but in a case of pre-existing state, no claims will be made. The training manager at Metropolitan Life Ghana, Mr. Samuel Tindabil, explains what happens to a policyholder when the true state of a property is not disclosed.
If at the time at which you were signing onto the policy, you to yourself do not actually know that you have that sickness, of course you cannot disclose it unless you have that fact before signing onto the policy that you can disclose it. So if it is tested or it is determined that at the time you were enrolling onto the policy you had no knowledge of the existence of that sickness within you, of course insurance cannot repudiate the claim.
Insurance experts advise all insurance companies that all clauses or warranties should be fully explained to insurers before they enter into any contract.
The insurance segment is brought to you by SIC Live. We have more news coming up. Please do stay.
Good evening. You are still watching News Hour, and I'm Evans Champon with the health segment brought to you by FPAC. As part of activities to mark International Fetal Alcohol Spectrum Disorder Day, Accra Brewery Limited organized a forum for 500 expectant mothers within the Tema metropolis. Discussions centered on preventable birth defects caused by alcohol consumption during pregnancy.
A woman who drinks alcohol whilst pregnant may harm a developing baby. Through the mother's blood, the alcohol gets into the baby's blood and damages the baby's cells. This affects the baby's growth. The level of alcohol effect on a child is described as fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, FASD, and it ranges from mild to severe physical or mental problems that may last the child's lifetime. Many pregnant women take alcohol out of ignorance. Others do so due to misconceptions that alcohol intake will help heal birth wounds quickly after delivery. The International FASD Awareness Day was instituted to educate pregnant women on the dangers of alcohol intake whilst pregnant. As part of their 85th anniversary, Accra Brewery took its holistic alcohol responsibility campaign to the Tema General Hospital to sensitize pregnant women on the dangerous practice. A senior midwife at the hospital, Mrs. Christiana Afu, who took the mothers through the education, told GBC24 that the campaign has been useful because the hospital now records low abnormality of babies due to mothers' alcohol intake.
At first, the rate was so high because people don't know that they shouldn't drink whilst they are pregnant. Alcohol itself is also a hard drug. It's not good. So at the end of the day, it also affects the formation of the baby, and we get so many abnormalities in the system. So for now, I think the rate has reduced.
The Corporate and Legal Affairs Director of Accra Breweries, Ms. Ajoba Chiama, said alcohol abuse is a major concern of the company.
Under no circumstances, no amount is safe, no time is good, and no kind of alcohol is suitable.
ABL is a public company engaged in the manufacturing, marketing, and distribution of beer, sparkling soft drinks, and non-alcoholic malt beverage.
And the Ministry of Health has signed 2 separate contracts with Vamed Engineering Group. The district hospitals will be situated at Bupe, Tolon, Sola, Somenya, and Pweta, while 1 polyclinic will be placed in Bamboy. The other contract involves 5 separate polyclinics in Greater Accra, which will be situated in Adentan, Ashaiman, Botiano, Sege, and Oduma.
The health sector has seen improvement in terms of infrastructural development across the country as part of social interventions in the sector. Vamed Engineering Group is one of the major stakeholders in the health industry that is responsible for the construction of the Sugakope Hospital in the Volta region and other polyclinics in the country. Minister for Health, Mr. Alex Sebofia, said this falls in line with the President's vision to increase healthcare facilities and strengthen the existing ones in the country based on the country's infrastructural deficits.
President Mahama's vision is to situate a number of polyclinics, minimum of 5 in each region. Central region, because of its particular circumstances, was actually given 10. And now we sign the 5 polyclinics that are required for now in the Greater Accra region. Government is dynamic, and the needs of the people do not cease because there's an election. So we go on apace, we continue to work.
The regional director for Vamed Engineering Group in charge of Africa and the Middle East, Mr. Oliver Stoza, assured the ministry that the company will complete the project in 2 to 3 years.
We fulfill and implement those projects in the expected way in terms of time and quality. And personally, I can say I can't wait to start.
Mr. Stoza said that his company would build on the trust it has earned from the country by delivering successfully.
Let's add ourselves from happenings in the world of sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. We go straight to Shinani, where the first team in the Bonahafo region to win the MTN FA Cup, Bichim United, have returned home to a rapturous welcome. The town of South District capital came to a standstill as the trophy was paraded throughout the streets.
Bichim United on Saturday 4 September made history by winning the 2015-2016 edition of the MTN FA Cup competition. They beat Ogowe United by 2-1 in the grand finale played at the Cape Coast Stadium. Yawano scored twice to give the Premier League side victory, though Akoto Danso got a consolation for the Soccer Mountaineers. The victorious team were met by fans and representatives of the Bichim Traditional Council and the Tano South District Assembly on the outskirts of Bichim. Special traditional prayers were offered to the team before the team was escorted by fans into the Bichim Township. At the palace of the Bichim Hene, chaotic scenes greeted the team. The players, led by their captain Issa Amadu and star players Yawano and Abednego Tete, were presented to the chief along with the MTN FA Cup trophy. The Tano South District Chief Executive Bukari Anaba praised the team for the honor done the Bichim area.
Our park has been recommended as one of the best, if not the best, in terms of the playing field itself. So what we now need is to ensure that we get a befitting dressing room and then a VIP stand. Then besides that, we'll be able to improve upon the inner perimeter where they play, and then the popular stand we will be able to improve upon it. So this is where we shall now be targeting.
Captain Issa Adamu and striker Abednego Tete shared their experiences.
We were promised we'll be going to Africa, and then we put it in our mind that if we win the Africa Cup, we'll be going to Africa. So we are ready to go. We are ready to face any team in Africa.
I hope the future is very, very bright for Beche United, the coming seasons. It was Africa and making ourselves proud and making Brunafo and Beche United proud. That's what helped us to win this cup.
Beche are currently 8th on the Ghana Premier League log with 38 points, 10 adrift of leaders Wow Stars, and have upcoming games against New Dubiase Dreams FC and Liberty Professionals to conclude the season.
Ghanaian boxer Richard Comey will face American boxer Robert Easter Jr. for the vacant IBF lightweight title later tonight.
The bout is expected to be a tough one, as both boxers are undefeated yet in their respective careers. Comey has fought 24 times with an impressive 22 knockouts, whereas Easter has knocked out 14 boxers out of 17 bouts. Both sides have shared their opinions ahead of the bout.
I'm expecting to put up a good show, which I'm going to do the same, so it's not be great. Well, if you want to be the best, you need to fight the best out there, so it's all good. We are undefeated, and we have the chance to fight each other, so that's how it's supposed to be.
It's a chess game, chess feel-out game, and we know Cummins is a good fighter. He proved himself, but I think with us, we're gonna have to just take our time and figure him out. You know what I'm saying? Make adjustments when we need to.
The title was previously held by fellow Ghanaian Joshua Clottey.
How's that feel, man? That's all for you.
The national rugby football team will on October play an international friendly with Nigeria. The encounter is part of steps by the Ghana Rugby Football Union to improve the national team's performance.
The national rugby football team will get busy in October when they face Nigeria in an international friendly. The encounter is aimed at building a national team capable of facing the best in the world. The president of the Ghana Rugby Football Union, Herbert Mensah, says such games will serve as litmus test for the national teams, the Black Eagles and Eagles.
In October, I've spoken to the president of Nigeria Rugby, Edward Poe, good friend of mine. So we will play home and away with Nigeria, which is a much higher level. And we can only improve if we play. We can only improve if we actually play between ourselves. And since we receive no money from our sports federation here in Ghana, the National Sports Association, or from the ministry, we have to find ways of generating it ourselves to develop it. Don't forget we have schools programs. We are developing it in schools, getting into rugby, we're developing it at college level, but unless we have competitions taking place regularly, the game is actually not going to improve. The coaching, the officiating, and the playing. So, yeah, we finished the Togo tournament, which we didn't win, but everybody thought we were the best team there. And now we have started this before the season starts to get people to understand how serious we are. October, September, through to November, there will be a lot more matches.
That's all for sports.
Welcome back. The first ever UN Peace Ambassadors to Ghana has released a peace song on the need for Ghanaians to strengthen the nation's peace. They were our guests on Showbiz 24 earlier on.
As election 2016 approaches, many have called for peace to reign during and after elections. The latest to join in the peace campaign are a group of Ghanaian musicians who have been chosen as ambassadors by the UN. They have composed this peace song. The Vice President of the World Federation of the United Nations Association, Madame Janet Edna Nyame, explained the rationale behind choosing the UN Peace Ambassadors for Ghana.
We are members of the United Nations Association. Okay. We are not the UN per se. Okay. We are an association, a non-profit group which sprang up all over the world after the establishment of the United Nations. The basic objective of UN is to the whole world to be in peace, to be at peace, at least. There shouldn't be no war, there shouldn't be wars and that sort of thing. So the association advocates for peace. Now Ghana, we're going to have elections. Yeah. We are all aware of what happened in Cote d'Ivoire, Liberia, Rwanda, whatever. They all resulted as a result of elections. And as a matter of fact, we are not praying that that happens here.
They gave an impressive a cappella.
Anybako, Gwebi Kana, Anybako, Akubalio, Akubeneleu, Akubesayade, Nenibo, Aku, Anibelona Kuawe, Ghana Jiwili, Ghana Jimilio, Nenibo, Ghana jiule
Zaji Ghana anafada zamubata Ghana muduba yaran makarantanmu suna da kokari su da su jara Ghana au su ba mu saboda shi manya mu zamu hankuri mu ba Ghana au Ghana au mu ba Ghana.
All in the news for now. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back at 10:30 with News Tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
News Tonight.